Hey team, hope you're doing fantastic today. Welcome back to another video of my business, diary, journal, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. I'm just documenting my 3D business journey. So, I would like to talk to you today about a few upgrades I've kind of worked on for the last few days. And that is kind of mainly the BLV, which you can see here. And my God, has it been a very, very, very painful journey with a few failed prints, unfortunately. Um, and yeah, I mean, in retrospect, it's good that I printed it, but I don't think I'll use it, right? So the this video today is going to be about the upgrades that I thought would be great for the 3D printers, but in fact they turned out useless. So you know, they work for some they don't, right? And I guess we'll kind of get to it later on in the video. But anyway, um, the stuff that I'm talking about today is the BLV, as I already mentioned, and then I have a Respooler down there as well, which I'll get to in a while. I also have these little like spool weights in here um, that were used to kind of help keep the spools down. And then I have my the only kind of useful upgrade I've had that you've seen it on the printer for quite some time already is that LED kind of razor, and that's it. But anyway, let's first start off by looking at the BLV, and I have 3/4 of it all printed, and the last part is in the printer, right? So we are going to finish assembling the BLV, and yes, we'll see how it all goes. But anyway, let's let's jump in up closer so you can kind of see what I do and how it all comes together. So let's get to it. Okay, so here is the BLV in 3 out of 4 parts already assembled. Well, actually, there's more parts that come to it, but you have the main last part over here as well. And if you notice, what this is 2 different kind of shades of black. And kind of halfway through, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use up whatever spools I have that I don't want to use, and just kind of use it for that. So I was using some. I think I don't know. It was some no-name brand, I think, of filament that I had. And that one was, I think, 3 years old. It was 3 years old, printed perfectly, and then I swapped over to Bambu's black, right? So Bambu's black filament the rest of the way because that one ran out. So let's get working on it. As you can see, it printed great. Uh, I've got a few issues with how the model is kind of made, but I'll get to it in a second. So let me put the plate back, right? And then we'll be able to kind of, look deeper into this stuff. So there was a lot of supports, and also there's a lot of stuff inside that when you splice the model, you realize that is not needed. And I'll throw up the what I mean, on on screen now, so you can kind of see what it is that I'm talking about. But that part has been in two, like so in both rears of the 2 back parts of the print, which slowed the print down quite a bit. Another thing is those supports. So these are not 3 organic supports or anything like that, right? These are just regular supports. And to be quite honest, these are not steep overhangs. Like these, I'm 99% sure that they would have printed fine, to be quite honest, with no overhangs, with no support material at all whatsoever, because nothing is really steep. Like the only part that I'd say kind of would benefit from the the support would be like this lip here, right? Because obviously printing like this lip here would be the only part that kind of benefits from the overhangs. But apart from that, really, this here, this has an overhang apparently, and it needed some support material, which quite honestly I heavily disagree with, because yeah, it's useless to me. That does nothing. And then the other part is there was a lot of overhang in here as well, apparently, so it needed a lot of supports. But when you take the supports out, right, and they're kind of a pain in the ass to remove, you'll realize that in the orientation that the print has been kind of been printed, you don't need these. I mean, this isn't super steep. I mean, especially with the jetpack upgrade that I have, it would have been fine. I'm 99% sure it would have been fine. So I do not know why there are so many supports. And I picked the quicker of the profiles, right? So there was, okay, support material here as well, useful, obviously, right? But I picked a print that was faster and with less support supposedly, and it still had a lot of support. And I also had to very much reduce the infill because I think it was at 15-20% gyro infill, which is way overkill for what this is. I mean, honestly, I don't think that such infill was necessary or needed for what this is. I'm gonna have to remove just this last remaining part, right, of thing. But yeah, as you can see, it printed grand, right? But there is a caveat. This is a reprint. I've had actually three parts that are terrible, and I blame it on Filament. I very much blame it on the Filament. So let me get my little bin of trash, right, and tell you what I'm talking about. So I've been using Sunlu's matte PLA filament, right? Because I was like, you know what, matte PLA, it was cheap. I think I got 10 rolls for 100 euros, so 10 euros per kilogram. Great, right? Fantastic price. Nothing but issues. I mean, I've had plenty of issues with this filament, unfortunately, and it caused me to have failed prints. Main part is the adhesion. Like, for whatever reason, the prints just separate from the layer or just by itself. I mean, if you look at it here, this stuff has actually kind of, came apart, and it's not because of my doing. Like, it warps. This filament, for whatever reason, is absolutely terrible for warping. You can kind of see it as well here. This is the Sunlu matte white. That's also not straight. Like, this stuff here, as you can see, is not straight. Like, it sticks up, and I've no idea why. Because, to be quite honest, I printed it on two different printers, right, on the P1S and the P1P, and this is the only filament that I'm having issues with. As I said, I've been printing with 3DJ, that yellow color, right, that you can kind of see here. This PLA is 3-4 years old, and it's outside, and I haven't bagged it or anything like that, and it prints fine. The filament that I used here on this glossy part has been amazing. It was old as heck as well. I want to say 3-4 years as well. Not bagged or anything like that, and printed fine. And brand new Sunlu filament that I've unpacked and popped into the AMS, right? So it didn't even get a chance to become, exposed to much humidity. Is splitting, and I've wasted 2 rolls, nearly 3 rolls, because of just the way it prints. It's I'm honestly at a loss for words, because I do not know what is wrong. At the end, what I had to do was dry it before every print, but that's not a valid solution, right? I shouldn't have to dry brand new filament, unfortunately. that is the case with Sunlu's mat. And I don't know, it's because their mat is more hygroscopic or whatever it is. I have no idea. But unfortunately, this BLV riser is not perfect. It's not at all. And I've had the same issue with the LED riser as well. So if you look at it here, right, the stuff isn't great perfect. I think these are in different PLA. I don't think these are Sunlu. I think I changed and just went with a different. I think I went with Bambu PLA for that. And as you can see, this is Bambu's PLA, right? And I changed over to silver, and it printed perfectly fine, right? No issues at all with different colors or anything like that. And then come to Sunlu, the layer shifts is my goodness. I'm shocked. Like it's not straight. I had to hammer this part, which I printed in that was a different, filament, because that was a reprint as well. It fit perfectly fine, but this part broke off because the parts didn't fit together, and yeah, I'm disappointed. Like this is gonna fit, but that's because it's two different filaments, right? First and foremost, oh, I think I need to change how this goes together real quick, because I do not think that it comes like that. And honestly, as like, yeah, it's not great. So mounting this, assembling the BLV is quite easy actually, right? Stuff just kind of slots in with the dowels. So let's see how it's gonna fit with this here. So here it went in fine, right? Here it's fine. It kind of came in, no issues at all, right? It's not super flush. Okay, it's grand. I'd say it's flush, right? But you can see there is a difference still here, right? It's not super duper perfect. And here's the last part that's gonna fit. And the reason kind of why I have this cut as well is because on the original part it wouldn't fit. The dimensions weren't accurate, and that's a Sunlu filament issue, unfortunately. So let's finish off the assembly, right? And get it in. There are also parts that kind of don't work. They broke, unfortunately, because the stuff just came apart, which is very, very disappointing in my eyes, right? It shouldn't have to come to that. But this here is installed. This here is being kind of inserted. Okay, that's in, and that's in. Right, so here is our BLV, and as you can see, I mean, look, listen, like I'm not gonna kid you, it's not super duper great, right? But I think it'll do. I mean, this is just supposed to hold the glass plate. Oh no, that's the print plate. Sorry, the sheets, right? You're supposed to just plop it in here, and there we go. Right, it's in. So that's fine, but yeah, this part's fine. This part here broke off, right? So how I held it together is I've kind of put it in and then used one of those kind of inserts, the holders, to kind of hold it in place, and it works. And then let's put the other side in and hope that they are dimensionally accurate as well. But hands down, I don't know. I'm disappointed. I really am, because I was hoping for a lot from Sunlu. And yeah, here is the stuff done. There's is one, and here is the second slot. And there we go. I mean, it's in, right? It's done. It's cool, super duper, right? Put it in, and yeah, let's kind of try and put it on top of the LED riser. And the reason why I'm kind of putting it on top of the riser is because I realized that I've no way to kind of like put the LED strip in here. So that's kind of how I've mounted it, I guess. Let me kind of move it back a little bit maybe. But I've done goofed up as well, because unfortunately what I've done is I didn't realize, or I failed to take into account, I don't think I'm going to use this because it does nothing here, right? It's just a decor. It'll be fine. My walls are sloped. So because my walls are sloped, I'm not even going to be able to put an AMS up on top. I cannot put the AMS up on top because it's not going to fit. If I try to put it in, right? So let's just say I do put it in. I won't be able to open it. So unfortunately, that's why I was saying it was a waste of time, waste of money for something that I'm not even going to be able to use. So yeah, it's cool. I might use it only on the P1P maybe or something. In retrospect, I wouldn't print it again because I have no need for it. Like I really don't. Like the glass goes in on top fine, right? So I can put the glass here or put the glass inside, right? Which is fine. So it kind of holds it in. But yeah, it was cool to print, just to try it on. But in retrospect, I wouldn't print it again. It has the little accessory kind of box in here as well, right? But to be honest, I have my accessories all in a box below, right? So the box up here has the accessories. So in retrospect, yeah, I wouldn't print it. I do know people enjoy it, and if they have more space, that's great. Power to them. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be one of those people that is going to go mad about the BLV, right? And now moving on to the other kind of things that everybody's raving about is the Respoolers. This is I don't know exactly the name of the Respooler. This is some Respooler, right? It's terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I've tried respooling a spool, the tan brown, right, from Bambu that I have. It couldn't do it. I mean, I'm sorry. It's terrible. What happens, and as you can see, I've actually even reprinted the part in PETG because maybe that was the issue. But what happened is this cog would just pop out. This whole mechanism here that you can kind of see, it doesn't work. Like because of the weight of the filament on the spool, it would struggle to kind of counteract the forces. So you'd be turning, right? So you'd be turning this and turning, and you need to make sure it's all right. So you'd be turning and turning and turning, right? And this would pop up because there's too much force. So this would just go whoop, and you got to start again. And to add to that, the print initially didn't work because the teeth kind of weren't accurate. So I had to shave off the teeth to make sure that it kind of worked correctly. And I'm really annoyed that this didn't work because you're like, ooh, this is, you see it on the stuff you need to print, and everyone is raving about the Re-Spooler. Oh, it's fantastic, it's great. I've no issues at all with it. But in retrospect, I don't think it's the people kind of re-spooled the spools after they printed it. I think they very much just rated the profile, and then were like, yeah, cool, printed good, nice, without a need to having to re-spool it. and kind of that was me as well until I had to respool the stuff. And I think I printed it because I had to respool the stuff, and I struggled. It didn't work. I specifically got the ball bearings for it because I was like, you know what, like this needs ball bearings. Okay, cool. Let me order ball bearings on Amazon. I ordered it all. Yeah, it's not it. It didn't work like it's supposed to do. I think the V-Spooler actually works because it's built better. But at this stage, I don't care. I don't need to respool spools. I don't get people's obsession with respooling, like the cardboard spools that come with you know, from Polyterra and now more other manufacturers. I don't get it. Why? You're doing it for the sake of doing it more than anything. So yeah, you're gonna get cardboard dust or something in the AMS, but has there actually been proper failures that are actually be like, yeah, if you run it all the time, you're gonna get it after X amount of hours? Or are just people making it up kind of stuff, right? And kind of exaggerating it? Because I don't know. I've been running the spools, the like the cardboard spools, with these little adapters that I've printed. And you know what? I've had no issues at all. I've had not a single issue with these spools kind of rings. It's all good. Like absolutely. Like this is wire printing, and this doesn't use a lot of filament at all, right? So 100% recommended. What I also have behind of my prints is a poop bucket. And the reason why I kind of printed it is because it's quick and it's literally one layer line. It's handy. It's flimsy as heck, which I'm going to upgrade later on, right? I want to install proper kind of poop chute mechanism stuff. But you know what? It works. Simple, cheap, and it works. So I've honestly found that the simplest things work, and trying to overcomplicate something like a, you know, a respooler, it's yeah, it's not worth it. There's more complex kind of things. And then another thing that I printed is this kind of weights for the spools. Is like, I know that people are saying, oh, when the spool becomes you know, kind of nearly empty, what tends to happen is the spool kind of jumps. And yeah, it's true. It happened to me a few times with the filaments and whatnot, and I wasn't that annoying. I just had to kind of put it in place and that's it. But I with the Polyterra spools, I haven't really had that happen to me. I find that they're heavy enough that this doesn't happen. The kind of black spools that you get from the likes, I think Eason does it. It's everyone like these kind of light spools that you kind of see, right? I think it happens to them quite a lot, but apart from that, I haven't really had, you know, any use for this. What I have here is dry, or not dry. I just have desiccant in here, but that's because I just kind of empty in my desiccant bags I get with the filaments more than anything, and I haven't actually put this anywhere. And then the last thing that that didn't work for me, I don't know why, is the Bambu Lab scraper. The second part didn't work. I need to reprint it. I don't know what I did wrong, but whatever. It's fine. But you know, continuing on the positive note, right? You know, these stuff, cool crap, whatever. What actually worked and what's actually really good is those yellow adapters. So Sunlu, you know, to give them credit, started shipping their like their spools on reusable rolls, and that's all fun and games, right? Cool, grand, nice reusable spools. But I don't think I've seen the I don't think I've seen a reusable spool being offered by Sunlu yet. So I don't get why they're offering this, right? But whatever, cool. Reusable spools, better for the environment, right? And hopefully cheaper for us later on down the line. But like these don't fit Bambu spools at all, right? They're too narrow. But what someone came up with, and that's genius. I mean, you know, amazing people on the internet out there. They printed adapters. They printed adapters for the Sunlu spools. So they go in, right? You've got the 3 little notches that are aligned with the 3 little kind of, things here. So you put it on, right? They don't really move at all, which is nice. And then you just screw this on, right? And that's it. And it works. Well, won't work if I, yeah. There you go. I've got no issues at all with it. Like it's actually good. It's something that's useful, and yeah, I'm really impressed with it. Yeah, it's I think I installed it the wrong way, but yeah, it's this I can get behind, right? Like it's something that's really cool. There you go. Boom, done. And it fits. This fits. I don't think I've loaded any spool, or I think I did, and I just used it up. But they work, and they work with those see-through, right? Those see-through here that you see, and they also work. So, they also work with the navy kind of colors, right? So both colors work, and yeah, pretty cool. I'm a big fan of these. Like I've got a few Bambu not empty, sorry, I've got a few Bambu refills, but I haven't got around to using them because I kind of, moved over to the whole to Polyterra exclusively. But yeah, I'm like when it comes to it, just to print random things, I will use up the kind of the refills, right? Like I didn't get them just so they sit there. So that's kind of what I've done recently, and yeah, it's that's it. Um, I don't think there's many more like useful prints that I had. Actually, there is. Is the you might have seen those little spool holders. These are really cool. They kind of extend the spool holder from the back, because when you get the printer, right, the spool holder's at the back, which isn't ideal, right? The placement of it, and you can see it better here, is terrible. I mean, trying to get access to it and whatnot. No, I'm not a fan. So instead, I kind of found some models of these spool holders. This one's different than this one here. So the one on the P1S screws in to where the existing kind of spool holder gets installed, and then this one here gets installed here. I think there's a screw or so. I think there is a screw. Or yeah, there is a little, sorry, there's a little screw here that you see that kind of holds this together in place, and that's it. And honestly, those things are what actually works, and that I'm happy that I printed, because everything else is a waste of filament. To me, it's like I'm not angry or whatever about this, because as you can see, it's printed in Bambu PLA that kind of comes with every Bambu printer, like PLA green. I don't like the color, it's ugly, so I'm not too stressed about it. But like the likes of the BLV, and that's using filament that I paid for, it's disappointing. And like it's not the temperature of the bed, because I've had this issue on the textured sorry, on the textured bed, right? So the default textured PEI, I've had this issue on the engineering smooth plate. So this is on the smooth material, and this was their straight out of the box, brand new marble PLA, and the stringing's horrendous. The stringing's absolutely terrible, right? And then it just starts peeling in here, like the layers just started separating for whatever reason. It's it's a waste of filament. And the BLV ones that were lifted were printed on the super cool plate from BQ, right? And like I've had no issues with the plate. Like the pink print that I printed in the last episode, it's all good. It's perfect, and it's tall, and it has a lot of, you know, geometry and everything like that. No issues at all. But for whatever and then for whatever reason, trying to print with Sunlu matte filament, it just didn't work. And unfortunately, it's that's kind of the current state of affairs. So I guess that's kind of it for today's episode. It was me rambling quite a bit and giving out, but I just don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made, right? Because you know the people learn the hard way, and I've kind of learned the hard way as well. And yeah, it's you know, if you want to try it out and you've got spots, you know, spare bearings, don't order them off Amazon, because if you order it for this, it's a waste of money. I'm gonna have to find something else to do with these ball bearings. But yeah, you can try it for yourself if you really want to, but it's not great unless you kind of screw it to a piece of board, right? So that's why it has screws on the bottom. And be like, oh yeah, you need to keep it down and screw it down and whatnot. That piece there, it's still gonna jump out, no matter what, because the gravity was holding the kind of old spool down, and it was still having issues. So, you know, take it as you will. But yeah, that's me wrapping up for the year. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. And I will see you in January for new episodes, right? So I'm on holidays now for the next 2 weeks, and I won't be at home, so no 3D printing for me, but I'll be working on stuff behind the scenes, trying to kind of get the business finally ready for launch in January. So fingers crossed it all goes well. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of admin work, and that's it. Apart from that, I think I'm ready for the launch. I've got a lot of prints. So if we look towards the back behind me, is like those are the prints, right? These are what I've been working on for the last 3-4 months. So fingers crossed, that's kind of, you know, where it's all gonna go. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you here with the nice view of all of the vases I've printed so far, and there's a few that are not in view as well. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in and staying with me till now. If you liked the video, like it, please give it a like. It helps a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, and give it a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what experience you've had with filaments, and whether or not you've kind of faced the same issues as I did. And hopefully you'll be able to kind of, you know, figure out what was the root cause. But until then, take it easy and take care. And if you can, take care of someone else too. Bye bye.